Hello everyone. Today I'm making the other movie that for explaining or describing is covering chapter 3. Okay, this is chapter 3. The title chapter 3, supply and demand. Supply and demand. So when you see the word supply and when you see the word demand, what do you think about them? What do you think about them? What do you think about supply? What do you think about demand? Okay, so let you think and then you can find out some idea about this one. Okay, so if you cannot find, we can go through. This is objectives. In this chapter, you will learn 1. How the demand curve summarizes the behavior of buyers in the marketplace. How the demand curve describes the behaviors of buyers, consumers in the marketplace. Before you answer this question, you need to understand what is demand curve. Before you understand what demand curve is, you should understand first demand for a good or for a services. So what does it mean, demand for a good or for a services? If you understand demand for a good or services, you can get demand curve. If you understand demand curve, you can answer this question. Okay. Number 2. How the supply curve summarizes the behavior of sellers in the marketplace. How the supply curve summarizes the behavior or describes the behaviors of sellers, producers in the marketplace. Once again, before you answer the question, you need to understand supply curve. But before you get the supply curve, you need to understand first supply of good or services. What does it mean? Supply of good or supply of a services. That's why when you get the point, when you understand the supply of good and services, you can understand supply curve. When you understand supply curve, you can answer this question. Number 3. How the supply curve and demand curves interact in order to set the equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity in the market. Sometimes we call equilibrium price, or sometimes we call price equilibrium. They are the same meaning. Okay. How the supply curves and demand curve interact to set the equilibrium price and equilibrium quantities in the market. 4. How moves in demand curve or supply curves cause the prices and the quantities of goods and services to change. Shifts mean move. Okay, move. So when the supply curve move, it could be move to the right hand side, it could be move to the left hand side. Demand as well. Demand can move to the right hand side, move to the left hand side. Okay, because when we're talking about demand curve or supply curve, we're talking about the graph that shows us about demand curve, the graph that shows us about supply curve. So when demand curve and supply curve move to the right hand side or move to the left hand side, so the equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity will change from original to a new one. That's why to change here. 5. Efficiency principle. Efficiency principle is a principle saying that the growth makes it's possible for every member, every person to have more. Let's say a short explanation. When one country have grow in terms of money, income, so it's possible for every member in this country to have more money. When one country have grow production, that means production become more and more. So when this country have grow in terms of production, so each member will have more product to use, to consume. 6. Equilibrium principle. Equilibrium principle related to point 3 and point 4. Equilibrium principle is a principle saying that market equilibrium leaves no unexploited opportunities for everyone, for individual. Leaves no unexploited opportunities. No unexploited opportunities. Okay, that's it means that when market equilibrium, everyone have opportunity to get benefit from the market. When market reach equilibrium, everyone in the market have opportunities to get their own benefit. Okay, these are the 6 points of chapter 3 objectives that we will see together throughout this chapter. Okay, supply and demand and introduction. Introduction to supply, introduction to demand. But first it should be demand and then supply. Based on introduction to supply and demand, I have one question. I have not only one question, but this is the first question. How do consumers get the goods and services they want in the right quantities and the right qualities? How do consumers get the goods, get services to use what they want to use in the right quantities and the right qualities? This is a general question. Maybe I specific to you. How can you get smartphone with the right quantities and the right qualities to use? Some of you has one smartphone. That's why one smartphone is the right quantity for you. And the right quality, it depends on what brand name of the smartphone. Because you know that different brand name also different qualities. For example, Apple, Samsung, Oppo, Vivo, or Huawei, something like this. Some goods and services are allocated by the market forces of supply, market forces of demand. Some goods and services are allocated by market forces of supply and demand. What are the market forces, or what is the market forces of supply? Supply, that means seller. So what is the market forces of seller? Demand, that means buyer or consumer. And what is the market force of buyer or consumer? Okay, so these are the questions that I ask you to think about before we go in deeply to the chapter 3. I think that you can find this answer. Okay, you can find the answers of these questions. The other question: why do some goods and services have shortages or surpluses, and the other do not? Shortages, that means not enough. What does it mean, not enough? That means seller sell less than demand. Demand want, they want more, buyer they want more, but seller sell less. That's why shortage. How about surplus? Surplus is the opposite of shortage. That means over enough. What does it mean, over enough? That means buyers buy that amount, but sellers sell more than this amount. Okay, but the other good, no, they are not surplus, not shortage. It's okay, just enough. But I can say now, I can get a narrow question. Why are the prices of electricity and water increased when people consume more and more? When buyer or consumer consume them more and more? Okay, you can check your bill. If you go to your bill or electricity, or you go to bill or your water every month, they have maybe 3 levels of quantity consumption. The first level, lower price; second level, a little bit higher price; the third level, also higher price. Okay. Some goods services are regulated or are controlled by the government. Okay. For example, electricity and water controlled by or regulated by the government. So, this is the first slide. I have many questions asked you, and I hope that, or I expected to get some answer from some of you. Some answer, it means that I don't expect that all of you can find the answer of this question, but at least I hope that most of you can find the answer for the question. Okay, what, how, for whom? What, how, for whom? These 3 terms or 3 words are the prefix of question form. Central planning economy and free market economy. This is economic system. Every society must answer 3 basic economic questions. What goods, what services should or will this country produce? What goods or what services should or will this city, province produce? If everyone, especially household, firm, the government, can answer what good, they know what good to produce, they need to ask the other one, how much, how many of each good, how many of each services should be produced or will be produced. You need to ask what to produce and how much you need to produce. Okay, this is about what. How should these goods be produced? That means how to produce these goods, how to produce these services. In order to produce goods and services, yes, we know that we use resources and technology. So what are resources that we use? Raw material, natural resource, human resource, capital resource, or financial resource, together with technology. That's why if you know what to produce, for example, Cambodia, what goods services should Cambodia produce? If Cambodia can decide what good to produce, how much to produce of those goods, or how many to produce other goods. If you know this good, if you want to produce this good, if Cambodia want to produce this good, thus how should this good produced? Can Cambodia answer this one? If we're talking about Cambodia, okay, or talking about the other country as well. How should this good be produced? In order to produce goods or services, we need technology and we need resources. Those technology and those resources are available in our country, in this country, in that country. Can this country, can our country use this technology, use this resource in order to produce this good? Okay, suppose that we know we have technology, we have resource in order to use what we have decided, what good that we decided to produce. And then for whom? For whom should this good be distributed, be sold or be distributed? For whom should this good be distributed or sold? For whom refer to the ones who want our product. Sometimes some people, some country, they need our products, they want our products, but can they buy? Can they get our products to use? They can buy or they can get our product to use. It depends on their income, ability to pay. Money, income, ability to pay. So what good to be used? If you know, you can decide what good to be used. You need to ask how much to be used. Okay, if you know what good to be used and you know how much to be used, you need to know how to be used. In order to be used, we use technology, we use resources. Does this country, does that country have technology, have resource to use that goods? Suppose that they have, then they can be used. After they be used, output coming, goods coming, service coming. For whom should this good, these services be distributed? So the one they need, the people or the countries, they need our product. They want our product. They want this product. They want this product. They need this product. Can they pay? Can they get? They can pay or they can get or not. It depends on ability to pay. Money, income. Okay, income. So these are three basic questions. These are the three basic questions that every people in the country, in the society, ask themselves and try to find the answers. Household can ask themselves. Household maybe play as a buyer. What good they should buy? How much should they buy? And how? Maybe this is not produced. Okay, not produced, but how can they buy? How can they buy? Okay, how can they buy? It depends on ability to buy. And buy for whom? They buy this product for whom? This is household, and this is about producer. What good to produce and how many to produce and how to produce, and produce for whom? For the government as a country management. What good this country to produce and how to produce and produce for whom? It's similar to each other. So three players must ask themselves based on these basic questions. Okay. The next point. What is an economic system? What is an economic system? Economic system is a network of organizations used to resolve the problem of what, how, for whom to produce. Okay? So this one. In order to answer these questions, you need to understand yourself. So which economic system that your country is? Because economic system is a framework or is a network of organization used to resolve the problem of what, how, for whom to produce. Okay? Economic system is the way that scarce resources get distributed within an economy, within a country. Scarce resources get distributed or get allocated within the country, within the economy. Okay? Because of the economic system, that's why let's say raw material or natural resource can distribute to this company, this province, or this city, this organization. Labor can be distributed to this company, this organization, or something like this. That's why scarce resource can be allocated or distributed or yes, throughout the economic system in the country. There are 3 different types of economic systems. Actually, based on the economic textbook, there are not only 3, 4, but the other one is old. We don't have any more. That's why I skip it. There are 4 different types of economic system based on a textbook, or yes, you can find from textbook or from the internet. But I raise only 3 because the other one is the people stop using anymore. That's why I raise only 3. Centralized economy, centralized economic system, command economy, command economy or command economic system, free market economy or capitalist economy, and mixed economy. So these 3 different types of economic systems still available in recent years. That's why I raise only 3. First, centralized economic systems. Centralized economic system is a system is an approach for all economic decisions to be made by central government. Okay, so its approach is for all economic system to be made by central government. It means that by an individual, maybe let's say prime minister or president, or a small member or individuals like government have ministry. So ministry can make law, can make decision for everyone in the country. Okay, so centralized economic system refer to a system that is for all economic decision to be made by central government. Central government, it should be only one person, prime minister or president, or maybe a group of small people. Talking about ministries, because ministry have many people there, but not compared with the country as a whole. Those many people still small number. Okay, that's why president prime minister decide for people in the country as a whole, or maybe ministries or a group ministry or line ministry decide, make policy for everyone in the group, everyone in the country as a whole. It means that centralized economic system, government have to decide everything. Government takes the control of social resource. Natural resource under control by government, human resource also controlled by government, technology and the others also controlled by government. That's why government can decide what to be used, how to be used, and used for whom. Okay, so centralized economic system, regarding the 3 questions, the government, it could be president or prime minister or ministries, decide for the people in the countries, decide for people in the country regarding what goods, how to be used and be used for whom. These are examples of centralized economic system. Former Soviet Union, but now since 1991, I think, since 1991, Soviet Union was collapsed and Russian Federation coming to replace, those is substitute. Now you don't know what is Soviet Union. You know only Russian Federation. Russian Federation is a new system. The old one, Soviet Union. Cambodia before 1993. Since 1997 to 1993, Cambodia was a centralized economic system because everything at that time was decided by government. Cuba, North Korea, China before transition economy in 1970. China, Vietnam, for example, in terms of politics in terms of they are communist, but in terms of economic they are free market. Okay, China decided to change from centralized economic system to free market system in 1977, 78, and after that Vietnam in 1980 something. I don't remember for this one, but after China changed, Vietnam also changed. These are the example of centralized economic system. Okay, based on economichealth.ops, centralized economic system is also referred to command economy or communist economies. Central planned economic system, it could be like this one: ownership of industry by government. That means the government own manufacturing, own industry, enterprise or factories. Price control by government. No invisible hand or market. Because price control, that's why everyone must respect to the government. 5-year plan. It depends on just normally 5-year plan. They change to plan by 5-year times. Inefficient firms protected. Firms are not allowed to fail because all the firms belong to the government. That's why government protect. Those firms must not fail. Okay. Innovation difficult because firm is protected. Sometimes take risk is not allowed. That's why if they want to find out new way to work or to produce, it's not easy to get. Bureaucratic, I mean there are many process or document. It take a long time or long resource from one place to next place to the other place. Okay. Lack of freedom, yes, because under control by government. That's why freedom is only government. So everyone not really get a freedom. The other one, free market or capitalist economic systems. One in which production, one approach in which production, or one system in which production and distribution decisions are left to individuals. Individuals, it could be households or firms, interacting each other in private markets. So free market or capitalist economic system, the market is not under control of government. It is different from centralized economic system. The government have control everything, the government control, but this one, government out of control. Who control? Who decide? Household can decide by themselves. Firms can decide by themselves. Household own their resource. Firm own their resource. Government is out. When talking about market, we're talking about buyers, we're talking about sellers. That's why buyers have their own resource. Sellers also have their own resource. They work together in the private markets. So government is out of control. In free market economic system, people decide for themselves. For example, which careers, what jobs you want to pursue or want to engage. Which product or what products to produce or to buy. When to start or to shut down the business. Who gets what, who buy what products. It depends on their preference. It depends on ability to pay, which is decided by individual preference and purchasing power. Individual purchasing power. What is purchasing power? The power to buy. Purchasing, that means buying. Purchasing power, the power to buy, power to purchase. So what is the purchasing power of buyer? The purchasing power of buyer is something that buyer used to buy. Okay, so you can understand something that buyer used to buy, goods, services. This is a purchasing power. Perfect competition market. This is your free market. This is perfect. perfect 100% competitive. Perfect competitive market or perfect competition is a market in which no individual supplier has important influence on market price of product. So when we're talking about perfectly competitive market, is a market that one single seller or supplier have no power to change the price market or market price of product. Okay, so when we're talking about perfectly competitive market, a single seller or single supplier have no enough market power to change the market price. It means they have no enough power to influence the market price of the product they sell. Okay, the product they sell or they supply. 4 characteristics of perfect competition. There are 4 characteristics of perfect competition. 1. All firms sell the same standardized product. All firms sell the same standardized product. Any product that firms sell in the market must be standardized. If you are seller or you are supplier, and if your product are not standardized, so you will be automatically you will be fail in this competition. Why fail? Because no customer come to buy your product. That's why you lost. If you lost, that means you failed in this competition. So in order to be ready for compete, your products must standardize. Your product that you sell or you supply must standardize. That's why all firms sell the same standardized product. The same standardized product. What does it mean? If Mr. A sell water, drinking water, Mr. B sell drinking water, but different name, different brand name, these 2 types of water must be standardized. Who can give the standardized? Maybe you can see ISO for international, can ISO, but for some country they have their own standard. Okay, for example, Cambodian standard. You can go to see some product, the package of the product or those product. You can see the label of ISO or CS, Cambodian standard or ISO. This is the one that we trust. So the product that have no design, that means this product no standard. So we feel not really comfortable to buy this product, because when we check, this product no sign from standard, is no sign from a standardized level. It means that the quality maybe not really trusted. That's why I feel not good to buy this one. So I will buy the other one. That's why if you are a user and you want to stand in the market to compete with the others, your products must be standardized. This implies that buyers are willing to change from one seller to the other if by doing so they can obtain the lower price. Okay. So when the product are standardized, maybe buyer can change from one to the other one without thinking about product standardized, because it's already standardized. That's why buyer will change from one seller to other seller if to the seller who provide a bit lower price. Okay, a bit lower price. 2. The market has many buyers and sellers, so each of which buyers or seller only a small fraction of total quantity exchange. It means that in competitive market there are many buyers, there are many sellers. That's why each of a single buyer or single seller is a small fraction of total quantity buy and sold. buy and sell. Exchange means buying and selling. Okay, so if there are many buyers, if you want to change the market price, you cannot change market price because your market power tend to be very small. If you are a single buyer, individual buyer, or one buyer, you cannot change market price. For example, drinking water, one bottle in the market 1,000 real. Okay, so if you want to change from this price to maybe less than this amount, you cannot find, because you cannot find the drinking water with a lower price than this one, because everyone sells this one, and beside of you there are the many buyer, they accept 1,000 real as the market price. That's why you need to accept market price 1,000 real, because you alone has very small market power. That's why you cannot change the quantity, you cannot change the price exchanged. This implies that individual buyers, individual seller will be price taker. You need to take the price from the market. You cannot control the price. That's why you need to take the price. 3. Productive resources are mobile. What are productive resources? For example, labor, raw materials, capital, financial capital or physical capital can be changed from one production to the other production. Okay. This implies that if a potential seller identifies a profitable business opportunities in a market, he or she will be able to obtain the labor, capital and other productive resources necessary to enter that market. Because free competition, everything tends to be free. That's why if you want to move from one production to another production, it's free for you to move. And if you change from one production to the other production, you can get labor, you can get capital, you can get the other resource easily. Okay, because they are those productive resources are available in the market. That's why they can change easily. 4. Buyers and sellers are well informed. Informed here refers to information. This implies that buyers and sellers are aware of relevant opportunities available to them. Relevant opportunity, for example, buyers would be able to seek out the lowest price seller in the market, because information free flow. That's why if you are a buyer, you can search for the seller who provide a little bit lowest price or lower price. Or sellers would have found deploying their resources in the market in which earn the most profit. Seller, because of market information a free flow, the seller can decide so what business to run, what goods to produce. That's why they can use their resource to put in that production or that market, and because that market more popular or maybe more profitable, that's why they will run this. Okay, so there are 4 points or 4 characteristics of competition. All firms sell the same standardized product. Market has many buyers, many sellers. So each buyer, each seller has a less or a small fraction of market power. That's why they cannot change the price. They cannot change the price. They cannot change the quantity. So they need to accept the price. If they accept the price, they call those sellers, those buyers as price takers. Productive resources are mobile. Labor can be moved, capital can be moved, or the resource can be moved from one production to another production to other production. It depends on if you are a producer. It depends on just profitable opportunities. If you are labor, it depends on high wage or high salary or high bonus. Capital, it depends on rent, and the other, it depends on their income. Okay, that's why they will go to market that have more labor, more rent, and more income. And if You are a user, you will turn to the market that have more profitable. Okay, more profit. Buyers and sellers are well informed because information is free flow in the market. That's why buyer can find who sell lower price, and seller can find which profit, which business that earn the most profit, or which market that earn the most profit, or which product, which services that earn the most profit. Okay, this is the difference of comparing between command economy and a free market economy. You can see this is free market economy, this is command economy. You can read by your own. I just mentioned about what you need to compare. One, ownership, incentives, prices, efficiency, equality. Just example, problems. Okay, you can see that together and then compare. In fact, the last, there are no perfectly competitive market in the economy today. That's why we have mixed economy system, mixed economic system, or mixed economy. A mixed economy means that a part of economy that means that some economic decisions are left to free market, while some economic decisions are managed or made by government. This is a mix between planned economy and free market economy. In mixed economies, most business run by private company, private enterprise. Government still have, but not very much or not very more. Yes, very few business that run by government. Most of the business in the economy run by private enterprise, I mean private company. The government intervenes in certain areas of economy. The government still have power to intervene to take a control, but some area of economy, such as providing public service, health, education, waste management, this is controlled by government. Like I said, electricity or water is also controlled by government. And the regulation of private business. The government also regulate private business, for example, legal rights to protect to private property, abuse of monopoly power, something like this. Okay, this is a mixed economy. Most business run by private company, but the government still run a small, a few numbers of business. For example, public school, public education, waste management, or maybe public transportation, or electricity, water. Okay, these are features of mixed economy. I got this is so from. You can see free market, government intervention. You can see by your own. Okay, we are not reading for you. You can see. Okay, buyers and sellers in the markets. We're talking about markets. I have 3 terms for you, or 3 words for you to answer. Who can explain what each of 3 terms below? What does it mean marketing? What does it mean marketplace? What does it mean market? Who can link these 3 terms together to get a clear explanation? Link these 3 together in order to get a 1 paragraph explanation. Okay, this is for you. Think about what is marketing, what is marketplace, what is market, and combine this content of 3 term content together in order to get a clear explanation. The market for any goods services consists of all buyers and sellers of that goods and services. So when we're talking about market of goods services, we're talking about all buyers and sellers of that goods services. For example, in the pizza market, sellers come from individuals and firms that sell pizza under the right circumstance. Under the right circumstance. What does it mean under the right circumstance? Under the right time, the right condition. Okay. So maybe you can ask, what does it mean the right time, the right condition? Okay. I'm waiting for your question. Buyers, including all individuals who buy or who might buy pizza. Who buy, that means refer to the one who regular buying. Might buy, maybe they are not buyer right now. They are not the buyer, pizza buyer right now. But maybe tomorrow or in the future, they decide to buy. Question: where does the price or market? Where does the market price of pizza come from? I also expect to hear your answer. Where does the market price of pizza come from? The other question: why are some goods cheaper and the other goods expensive? Why are some goods cheaper and the other goods expensive? This is general question or specific question. Why is water cheaper, beer more expensive? Okay. So I have some question here for you to find the answer. To read that one and think based on your understanding and try to find the answer. Okay, now we're going to point 1, our objective. Remember that point 1, our objective. How the demand curve summarizes the behavior of buyers in the marketplace. Now we come here. The demand for any good or service is the quantities of that good or that service. Okay, a quantity that good or that service that consumers are willing and able to buy at a given price in a given period of time. So this is definition of demand. Remember that in objective I got a 1 and I got one question like the red question. So what does it mean demand for a good or services? So this is the answer. Make sure that you understand this answer. Demand for any goods, demand for a good or a services is the quantity of that good or the quantity of that service that buyers are willing and able to buy at any given price, at any price in any period of time. Okay, this is this is the answer to the question, what does it mean demand for a good or demand for a service? Okay, let's see example. If the price of apple is, demand for apple will be. If the price of apple $2 per kilogram, the demand for apple will be 2 kilograms per day, or maybe per week, it depends on, let's say per day. If the price of apple 2 kilograms, the demand will be if the price of apple $2 per kilogram, the demand will be 2 kilograms. The other condition, the other time. If the price of apple increase to $4 per kilogram, the demand for apple will be 1 kilogram per day. See this picture. This is one pair. This is one pair. One pair between price and quantity. One pair between price and quantity. So based on this one, what can you see? When the price $2 per kilogram, the quantity demanded will be 2 kilograms per day. But the other condition or the other time, when the price $4 per kilogram, the demand for apple will be 1 kilogram per day. Okay, so this is an example. This is demand for a product. I can say that demand for apple is the quantities of apple that consumers are willing and be able to pay any price, any period of time. What does it mean are willing? Are willing, they plan to, they wish to. Be able to pay, they can pay, they can buy. Okay, they can buy. They want to buy and they can buy, so the apple come to them. However, some consumers, they want to buy but they cannot pay. If they cannot pay, their demand is nothing. Why? Because they want to buy but the product not going to them. That's why what they said is nothing. I want to buy a house but I cannot pay. That's why I cannot leave this house. So my demand for this house is nothing. That's why demand for apple refer to quantities of apple that I want to buy and I can buy at any given price, $2 or $4, and any given period of time, maybe one time this month, this week or next week, this month or next month. Okay, this country or that country. Your period of time maybe not only a period but maybe condition. This country, maybe in our country, maybe we are not apple producers. Supply tend to be higher. That's why you can buy less. But in some country, they are apple producers. The price cheaper. They can. Those people can buy more. Okay, this is demand and one condition. This is their demand in one condition. If I take this demand in one condition and the other demand in one condition to put in the graph, so what happens? We will get demand curve. Okay, this is demand, the point of demand. This is the other point of demand. If we have 2 points right now, because we have P, we have Q, and we have P, we have Q. If you have 1 point and you have the other point, if you connect from one point to the other point, we got a line. This line we call demand curve. What is demand curve? Demand curve is schedule a graph that represents the relationship between quantity of goods and services that buyers wish to buy, wish to purchase at any given price. At any given price. What does it mean? It's a schedule. Schedule is not only one, maybe 2, 3, 4. Or graph is not only 1 point, many point. But based on this one, I got 2 points. This 1 point, this 1 point. By convention, be careful. By convention, economists usually put price on vertical. What is vertical? Vertical is like here. Remember that from appendix. Vertical OY. How about horizontal? Horizontal OX. Okay. So by convention, by making it easy, economists put price on vertical demand curve or demand curve, quantity demanded on horizontal. Demanded vertical OY, horizontal OX. But in this case, we don't have Y, we don't have X. Instead of having Y, have X like appendix in chapter 1 saying or explaining, Now we don't have x, we don't have y, but we have p, we have q, we have price, we have quantity. That's why now our graph we don't have x and y anymore, but we have p, we have q. So we put p on vertical, we put q on horizontal. Okay. What does the demand curve for Apple look like? Okay. So we put p, economies, we put p on vertical. This is vertical. In appendix chapter 1, this is OY, this is OX. Okay. Appendix chapter 1, OY, OX. But in this chapter, we don't have X, we don't have Y, because we're talking about market. When we're talking about market, we have price, we have quantity. That's why price is here, vertical axis. Quantity is here. Quantity is here, horizontal axis. Demand curve for Apple. When the price is $2 per kilogram, consumer will buy 2 kilograms per day. The other condition or the other time, when the price $4 per kilogram, the consumer will buy 1 kilogram per day. So I have 2 points. This is this is demand for Apple at one time. This is demand for Apple at the other time. Okay. One time and at the other time. One time at the other time. Maybe 1 week, the other week. If I got 2 points, I can connect these 2 points. I got a line. This line we call demand curve. Demand curve for Apple. This demand curve tell us that, summarize us that, when the price is $2 per kilogram, consumer will demand 2 kilograms per day. When the price up to $4 per kilogram, the consumer will demand only 1 kilogram per day. That's why this is the behavior of consumer. The behavior of consumer will change their consumption from $2 kilograms per day to 1 kilogram per day if the price go up. However, contrast from this one, if the price go down cheaper, consumer will buy more. Okay, so when the price go up, the quantities go down. Or contrast from this one, when the price go down cheaper, the quantities go up. So based on this one, we can see or we can understand the property of demand curve. The property of demand curve say that as the price of one good or services go down cheaper, the quantity demanded QD, the quantity demanded QD, the quantity demanded that consumer wish to buy will increase. So when the price becomes cheaper, let's say when the price becomes cheaper from $4 to $2, consumer will buy more from 1 kilogram to 2 kilograms. Therefore, the fundamental property, the basic property of demand curve is that it is downward sloping with respect to the price. Downward. What does it mean downward? You can see where you draw down. The direction down. Respect to the price, this price, because price here, downward from 4 to 2. Okay, from 4 to 2 respect to the price. The curve from 4 to 4, actually not from 4, from any point here, but we don't know. That's why I say from 4 to 2. Okay, so the basic property of demand curve is downward sloping with respect to the price. Based on the price, the demand curve downward, or sometimes we call negative slope.